Good morning and welcome to the Monday, 7th of September Smart Financial Planning Review of the Weekend Papers. This is a fantastic week for the financial planning profession. It's our financial planning week. This is a week where the profession comes together to try to find a variety of ways to get good ideas out to the population at large as to how they can improve their financial futures. Financial Planning Week is sponsored by the Institute of Financial Planning, and as I'm sure you're already aware, as of January 2010, for the next 2 years I will become the Institute of Financial Planning's Manchester branch chairman. I'm therefore very interested in the success of this week and would implore you, if you've got some time in your hands, to go to www.financialplanningweek.org.uk. There are lots of useful guides, there's lots of useful information, and if there's anything there that you need any further assistance with, please don't hesitate to give me a shout. Financial Planning Week should be appearing in all of your newspapers, lots of television, and believe it or not, BBC Radio Manchester have asked me to go and talk to them about Financial Planning Week tomorrow. So hopefully, because the industry is going to work together, we can actually get the message across to people that if they make some plans for the future, it can help control the decisions that they make today and possibly help them avoid getting into some of the situations they got themselves into in the past. Now obviously you'll be able to say that wasn't in the weekend's news, and that's absolutely correct. What was in the weekend's news was another example of newspapers running two stories at broadly the same time, giving you two different outcomes, I should say. This weekend's culprit was commercial property. On the one hand, we have an article saying that it's going to take 5 years at least for the commercial property market to recover. And that doesn't mean to recover to the point that it was at before it started to fall. That means from this point onwards it's going to take 5 years for it to increase in value. And we've got another article in the same newspaper telling us that this is the bottom of the commercial property market, that yields are in the 8, 9 and 10% area, and therefore property prices are going to rocket. You're already aware, I'm sure, if you follow these blogs, that I love coming across this sort of nonsense in the newspapers. And the reason particularly is because I know many people who take what they read in the newspapers as gospel and act upon it. How can you possibly be advised by the newspapers when on one hand they're telling you that commercial property is clearly somewhere not to put your money for the next 5 years, and on the other hand they're telling you that the garden looks rosy and that you should basically be piling in with your money. Smart Financial Planning's view is that commercial property will always be a good thing to have in your portfolio over the long term. It generates a yield because the tenants pay rent. That is then available to pay out to you as an income. That's really attractive. As a general rule, the change in property prices happens at a different time to the change in the value of shares, to the change in the value of gilts, and the change in the interest rates available on cash. So that makes it a good thing. Some of you will be aware that that hasn't actually happened in the last year and a half, but that's an anomaly. So I would say commercial property is a fantastic thing to invest in. I have no idea, as ever, whether today is a good day or a bad day to do it. I think there is a good argument to say that at any point we should be investing in commercial property, because if you're going to make any investments of this type at all, it's an investment for the long term, and if you're investing for the long term, what happens in the short term really isn't very important. If you spend your whole life trying to chase what's going to happen in the short term, history tells us that people end up worse off. That's all from me this week. If you're able to listen to Radio Manchester at approximately 10:45 tomorrow, you'll hear more of what I've got to say. Failing that, I'll be back next week. Thanks, bye bye.